everyone. My name is Nadine, owner of NG Platinum Homes, and welcome. Today we're going to be talking with Gregory of Baczewski Luxury, and if you follow me, you would know I did a lot of videos in his showroom, and today we're going to talk about a lot of detailed things, talk about some kitchens that you've done, show some examples of some great Italian design, and go from there.
Hi guys.
So how long have you been in the kitchen industry, and how did you get into it? That's what I'm curious about.
So this year is actually going to be my 20th year mark. So it will be 20 years exactly. I used to be in telecom, and then at some point I realized that it's not for me. I fell asleep twice hitting the screen with my head, and then I woke up and I said, listen, I got to do something different in my life.
That's a cue to let's move on from this.
So, after I got out of telecom, I flew to France and I studied stretch ceiling technology. These are the French ceilings that are designed to be perfect, beautiful, lacquered finish, translucent finish, and they allow you to create different shapes. So I was specializing in that for a few years, but then as the market was slowly growing, I started adding more and more European products. I started bringing European surfaces, aluminum doors, some European technologies that didn't exist in the States. And then people started asking me to do custom projects for them, combining all of these products, and there wasn't another company that was doing it. So eventually, one step at a time, we moved towards building custom projects with all these different European manufacturers that weren't present in the States at that time. So it was a long process that eventually got me where I'm at
baby
today.
steps to get you where you are. Yeah, that's what happens a lot.
And my knowledge was also built from the back end. I was not on the front end as a designer initially. I was a factory rep. So I knew how the factory functions, how the machinery functions, what are the capacities, can we push the limits, or what are the limits? And that actually helped me to backtrack to the design phase where we don't over-engineer, but we also knew if we can push some limits and create something more distinctive than others. So these were sort of the benefits that I learned and channeled to my clients by being a factory rep. So today I design my projects, but I have a lot of technical knowledge that I gained by repping the manufacturers out of Europe. That's the main difference.
That's really good. Speaking of difference, I know a lot of people that may not know about Italian manufacturing when it comes to kitchens. Sometimes people think that, Italian or any European kitchen is going to be like, that one big box store that a lot of people shop at for kitchen items that's European. They have a kind of a bad idea on quality when it comes to cabinetry and things like that with, European kitchens. So what is the difference between Italian manufacturing and something that may be manufactured in the U.S.? What is the difference between the two?
So few major ingredients that make Italian production different. Number one, the hardware and components. A lot of it is proprietary to Italy, and you can only get it out of Italy, and it literally still doesn't exist in the States. There are some brands that we can get these days in the States, but there are a lot of unique things that seems like Italy is keeping to themselves. That's number one. Number two, the finishes. There are lots of unique techniques, like painting techniques that Italy is using that simply doesn't exist here. They can replicate metals.
I know you mentioned it in one of my videos I did in your showroom as far as the process with painting and how long it takes. It's not a 30, 40, one hour minute or 1 hour process to do it. It's a very long, multiple steps. So
yeah, they typically,
how do they do that?
They would take MDF core as the surface that they would paint. They would polish it to 1/1000th of a millimeter, which is smoother than baby's butt, basically. Then they apply coat of paint. It goes into high heat room for 1 week. Comes out, they apply another coat of paint. So it goes back and forth into high heat room to acclimate, stabilize. That process is what creates that perfect lacquered surface. When you take high quality Italian door, it looks like a mirror. When you take an American manufactured painted door, they don't produce mirror-like quality because they don't do those aging processes. That's the main difference. Here, we want to paint, send it out, we're done. Over there, they take time because they want that kitchen to last for 50 years. You know, the families sometimes travel and keep taking that kitchen with them. You go to Italy, you see 1,000-year-old building with a door, and the door is 1,000 years old and it's still in one piece. It's not deformed, it's not warped. And it's, I don't know, 15 feet high.
It's not a one and done. You have a kitchen renovation done, and then you just move on. They actually take it with them when they move.
Yeah, it's
That's
an
interesting.
tradition, yeah. It's part of the furniture. They don't consider it as a built-in kitchen. It's a furniture element. And even when you buy a brand new house in Europe, you buy a shell. In the States, you have to have a kitchen in order to
sell it.
To sell
That's
it.
right.
Over there, you don't. It's part of the furniture.
The Italians or any other Europeans, they want to probably do it themselves. There's no necessity to put the kitchen in prior to purchasing it, right? They want to put all the pieces and parts in that they need and want, and that's amazing. I do want to highlight some of the beautiful work that you guys do. This first kitchen that we're going to look at is amazing, so I want you to go in a little bit of detail about some of the features in this kitchen. This was a kitchen that you did for a customer in Denver. So let's talk a little bit about the finishes here. What is the material? What material of the countertop? And what are the really key design features here that you loved the most about this kitchen?
So this particular kitchen was done probably using 5, 6, 7 different European manufacturers. The countertops were done by Decton, which is Casentino, Spain. Scratch resistant, heat resistant, stain resistant, whatever you want resistant. Amazing product. It's probably my #1 preferred countertop. The cabinetry had an olive lacquered veneer, wood grain matched, on exteriors of the cabinets as well as interiors. All of the cabinets that have glass doors had finished interiors, and even the interiors were wood grain matched from the upper cabinets down to lower cabinets.
Which is very different, right, from what is typically done.
Very unique. It's very luxe.
Usually what we see is the internal part of the cabinet is a different material from the outside, from the doors. So this is very beautiful how this was done, that everything matches, and especially that you can see that when you have the glass doors there, that you can see the interior and it's all the same. Beautiful.
The glass doors, you cannot tell of the pictures, but they were up to 8 feet wide as one door. Very unique, and I was told that that's not possible. We engineered it where it was possible.
He made it possible.
But to say even more, all of them are servo drive. So all of these doors, you push on the door and then they lift up.
That's an amazing feature. And again, if you watched any of my other videos in his showroom, there's a video there of us demonstrating this automatic opening cabinet door. And like, if you want luxury for a kitchen cabinet, like, I don't think you can get any better than that.
It's as luxury as it gets.
Press a button and your cabinet door opens.
Yep.
That's really cool.
And we had LEDs built into every single shelf and under the cabinets. This is all motorized, interior wood grain matched, exteriors wood grain matched. The backsplash was done out of Decton. If you notice, we have channel system built into a backsplash that allows you to integrate even more accessories for functionality. This is extremely functional kitchen. The sink was done by Gali. This is a 5-foot-long Gali sink with 2 faucets and 1 filtered water tap. There is a secondary sink behind the island. If you look at the stainless steel pieces to the left and right of the stove, these were imported out of Switzerland. They were made out of stainless steel, the only stainless steel in the world that's completely scratch resistant. However, each piece weighs 60 pounds, and normally I don't talk about pricing, but I'm going to mention it. It's $2,500 per cutting
That's
board.
okay. I'm sure people would like to know the price. And that was the one key piece I wanted you to talk about too, because it's very interesting. I mean, luxury cutting board.
Yeah. So somebody would say, why would you spend the money? I personally don't know, but my client absolutely loves it. It's ridiculously heavy. It doesn't move. He can cut anything he wants on it. There are no scratches. 100% hygienic. He absolutely loves it. So.
And you said typically that material is used on countertops.
Yeah, you can make a countertop out of it. The company can integrate sinks into the countertop. This is the next level of luxury. It's completely scratch-resistant stainless steel. Generally, if you do stainless steel countertop, within 3 months, it accumulates all kinds of scratches and looks like it's 10 years old.
That's the one thing also about stainless steel sinks. There's a lot of stainless steel kitchen sinks out there that a lot of people use. Some people really love them for the look, but that's one key thing that a lot of people don't like about it is the scratching problem.
Yeah.
So it's amazing that there is a product out there made by somebody that, you know, if it's your concern and it's within your budget, you can have a scratch-free stainless steel anything in your kitchen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to look at this kitchen that is in North Colorado, and looking at the picture here, you say it looks like a solid door, but it's not. So what are the interesting beauty features of this kitchen here?
So the picture doesn't tell you the story because it looks like gray and white kitchen, but when you're there, you would find out that it's a frosted painted glass in gray or white throughout the entire kitchen. Feels extremely luxury when you're there, when you touch it. It's fingerprint free. Just the feeling it creates is indescribable.
So even the top part that is white, that's frosted glass as well?
That's frosted glass.
Wow. And then is there any particular difference in the frosted glass that makes it fingerprint free as opposed to regular glass that, you know, might leave prints?
So you have two types of glass. You can use clear glass and back paint it, and then you're going to end up with high gloss look. And then you can take frosted core glass and have it back painted. Then it creates naturally fingerprint-free glass. So you get two options. So if you want low maintenance but high quality kitchen, you're gonna go with fingerprint-free frosted painted glass. That's the idea. And then we had some integrated handles there as well. So you can touch the glass, but you really have handles there.
Okay.
And you don't have to touch the glass.
And then what type of backsplash did you guys use here? Is this a stainless steel or what is this?
We used a product out of Austria called Cebu Design. It's a panel system, looks like an exotic metal, I would say, with some channels. And then those channels allow you to integrate various accessories. Even on the background, you can see a TV. There is a TV suspended off the wall, and that wall has that channel system. Very European, very minimalistic. It allows you to avoid big, bulky accessories, but adds functionality. And the nice thing is that you can always adjust things, interchange them, play around to create different function in your kitchen as needed.
And I really love the addition of the completely under cabinet lighting by the floor, which isn't seen that often in kitchens. Typically you see that more in bathrooms, but the fact that that was added into the kitchen is a beautiful addition, and I just love that. And then also the countertop on the island, that's a really extra piece there where you see most of the kitchen is, you know, looks like grays and whites, and then the color pop
It's a focal point for the kitchen, correct.
It's beautiful.
Just want to mention on LED lights, almost every single kitchen we do has LED lights in it. And what many people don't realize, but it's really nice to have Tokic lighting because you can live it at night. And if you go into your kitchen at night, if you
midnight snack.
Yeah, midnight snack, but you don't have to turn on the lights. You can actually sort of hide from everyone. Nobody knows that you're in the kitchen. You go grab the things and walk away, and it's very private in a way.
No, nobody needs to know that you're going into the kitchen for a sandwich at 1 o'clock in the morning or anything. That's so, that's great.
We also have lights where you do motion sensing, and you don't even have to flip a switch. You literally just run your hand, lights turn on. Very silent, so very private.
That's great. I love it. So this next kitchen is another beauty. And this one is in Hawaii that you did. I love the countertops here. It's a darker countertop, which I think a lot of people kind of have gotten away from here recently, at least in the States, away from dark countertops. They're going towards the white, but I really think it gives it a very rich, beautiful feel with the black. So tell me a little bit about the key features in this kitchen that were special and why it's so beautiful.
Part of the kitchen was done using black frame aluminum doors with dark gray tinted glass. It blended in nicely with countertops, but at the same time, it didn't add an extra color to the interior. And there are lots of big windows in there. It's all open. So the idea was to add the functionality, but not take away from the natural look that you see out of the window. So it's stunning, it's beautiful.
Which in Hawaii, you want to see the nature, you want to see the views, you want to see that beautiful outside. I really like the dark cabinets and countertops coming back here, I think more recently.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, like I mentioned, a lot of people were going with that very white, stark white and very light gray look, but I see that the darker colors are coming back in, and I think that's really beautiful.
We do lots of walnut finishes and darker wood finishes, but we try to combine them either with glass or with lighter solid colors, so it doesn't feel overwhelming and heavy, but adds a character to your kitchen or other rooms.
And that's it. It gives it a richness. Those darker woods, just, it's beautiful. And then in this same house, you also did an accent wall that is something called a channel system.
Yeah. So it's a channel system we bring out of Europe. It's very unique because it's very universal. We use it as backsplash. We build living room walls for TV systems. I've done bedrooms. I've done offices. I've done displays for Las Vegas shows for the companies with it. But it basically takes any 3/4 inch or 2 cm panel. It's integrated with a channel, and the channel can have accessories, TVs suspended. You can suspend cabinets. There are glass shelves, aluminum shelves, laminate shelves, veneer shelves that you can integrate with it. It gives you full flexibility, and the beautiful part is you can redesign it as often as you want. You build a wall with that channel system, and you can rearrange components to accommodate whatever.
Change where you want to place things. And I really like the channel system when it comes to kitchens on the backsplash, because I don't know about anybody else, but for me, having a lot of items on the countertop kind of makes me a little crazy, especially like salt and pepper shakers and, you know, any kind of bottles, olive oil bottles, things like that. So if there's something that can be put on the actual backsplash to elevate those things off of the counter is amazing.
We ran into a problem, by the way, with that. We had a spice rack system that mounts into a backsplash that was designed for European-sized salt and pepper and spices. Well, in the States, everything is bigger. So every time we sold it, people came back and they said, hey, where do we find such a small size salt and pepper shakers? So I kept telling my manufacturer that, hey guys, it's not working out well in the States. We need to come up with an alternative.
And it was the depth.
It was the depth.
Right? That was too small.
So recently they released an American size shelf for spices. So finally you can pretty much buy anything off the shelf in the store, and it works with that system. But that was one ingredient that is nice to have in a kitchen, just wasn't functioning for American market.
Especially in Texas, as we know, everything's bigger in Texas too. That's beautiful. No, it's amazing, amazing products, and the work here is just beautiful. I just love it. Being in the business for so long, I'm sure there's, well, in any kind of construction, there's always issues, right? There's problems with multiple things that can occur, but you've been in this business for so long, so I'm sure you have lots of stories of things that happened. What would be some of those pretty interesting ones that you that you would want to talk about that might people won't be interested in?
2 days ago, we just received a container from Italy. As we're receiving container, the factory sends me a text, Gregory, we forgot some doors for your kitchen.
Oops.
So yeah, happens. But they said, don't worry. So we received container on Thursday. On Mondays, when they realized that they forgot the doors, on Thursday they managed to airship it. Yesterday was Friday. broker contacted me. I submitted the paperwork for clearance. We're expecting delivery on Monday.
That's pretty,
all the way from Italy.
That's pretty quick.
So 3 days. So is it stressful? A little bit, but it's okay. I mean, when you work with a good factory, they take care of you. This is the case with Composite. In 3 days, they managed to package it, ship it. It's rush shipped. It's coming. We really won't even need them that fast. I mean, it's going to take a guy at least 7 to 10 days install all of everything that goes into that house, and the doors go very last anyway with all the adjustments and etc. But this turned out okay. I had another hiccup probably about a month ago.
So getting back to the other one, unless you have an open shelving concept, I think doors are pretty important, right? When it comes to cabinetry.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's good that they remedy the situation pretty quick, so there's not a long wait time waiting for those. So that's great.
Typically, when you deal with good manufacturer, they help. Mm-hmm. They really want everyone to have good experience, and they're trying to rush things as much as they can, and they care. So that's the important part. The second hiccup we had recently was I visited a house where installation was happening, and then I noticed that one of the cabinets was supposed to be 18 inches wide. Trash cabinet was supposed to be 18 inches wide, arrived 15 inches wide. When you reduce size from 18 to 15, one big thing happens. You end up with one bucket instead of two buckets. Being in Texas, you have to have two buckets. One bucket doesn't cut it, so it's too small. So, I was at the house at 5 p.m., realized we got wrong cabinet. By 9 p.m., we submitted rush reorder to the factory. It was going to be produced within 10 days and air-shipped. Next day, I get a call from the client. For 10 minutes, she was yelling and screaming at me. She said that she was disappointed. She couldn't trust me. How is it possible that one cabinet came smaller than intended, and I did not tell her anything about it? I just had to tell her, I'm sorry, but do you remember the agreement we had in the beginning? When you start working with us, we have no stress. We take care of things as they come up. We never know what's going to happen. But if something goes off the path we expect, we're going to take care of it. So I said, you called me about 24 hours later. By that time, everything was already in the production, rush shipping was scheduled. And I said, you know why? I didn't tell you about it because I don't want you to stress. I'm going to stress because it's my job.
Yeah.
It is not your job to stress over your cabinetry when you pay me for the product and service. So when I typically start working with clients, I try to clearly identify to them things may go wrong. We're all humans. Things can happen, but we will take care of you because that's what we do. That's part of our philosophy. We take care of things. We don't do things that we don't do, but whatever we do, we take care of our clients, and we don't want to talk about something that happens along the way.
If it's something minimal that's not going to really affect them and you handled it, why stress the client?
So we're going to get it, we're going to install it, we're going to align the doors, and then everything's going to be great at the end of the day. So and that's the idea. So listen, there is too much stress in life as it is. So why worry about things that you cannot control, or why worry about things that should be handled by a company that's dedicated to handle it? So I typically tell my clients, either go and work if that's what you do, or go on vacation and enjoy your vacation, and let us do what we do. When we're done, if you see a problem, tell us. But typically there are no problems because my installers will tell me about the problem before anyone else will see it. And if we have to reorder it, we just reorder it. That's it.
That's perfect. Easy peasy. I love it. Another thing that we're going to talk about is the responsiveness, and how, as we were talking, this customer that was, upset you didn't tell her about these things. These things happen in any kind of builds or constructions, right? Yeah, there's absolutely mistakes that can happen, but as I mentioned, you don't need to necessarily know everything, especially if it's not really going to affect her because you remedy the situation. So the biggest thing is responsiveness. And you were telling me about the way that you handle things when it comes to customers.
When I start working with my clients, I give them my cell number. Unfortunately, a lot of them abuse it because they text me at 5:30 to 6 in the morning, and some of them text me at 12 at night. And it is what it is. There are some clients that are awfully busy during the week, and then we start chatting with them on the weekend. They call me, they text me, and whatever. You know, it's okay. If I'm alive, I always respond. But basically, that's the personal experience. You know, some people tell me that I'm a bad businessman because I allow people to do that. But what I do is personal to me, and this is my way of life. I don't do other things. This is what I do, and I try to make happy experience for people. I want to make sure they don't stress. That's why I respond. You know, if something comes up, I respond, I let them know. And the goal is to create an engagement where they're happy, they know that somebody's taking care of things. And I'm happy based on the relationships. You know, every week I go back to Colorado, end up at somebody's dinner. My clients invite me for dinner because the project is finished, or they just want to go over things. They're happy, and it's part of the experience in life that I personally really enjoy. So I wouldn't trade it for anything else. That's the way of life that I have, and I'm grateful for that. It's pleasant in a way.
That's great. And like I said, I do things the same way. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that don't do that. I mean, you know, people see these responsive times and they're like shocked and floored, like they can't believe, because it's not the norm anymore. And that's really unfortunate. Well, this was a great conversation, and I love showing everybody the beautiful work that you do. And I do like to mention that I'm not sponsored. You know, we don't get paid for this. I just like to bring people in that I work with frequently, and they do great work and they take care of their customers and my customers beautifully. If there's anything that you saw, or you had any questions, or you wanted to get in touch with Gregory, just drop a comment, ask any questions that you like about any of these kitchens or products, and we can answer those for you. So yeah,
this was great.
Yeah, and
sharing experiences is always valuable, and there are always stories with it.
I know, it's beautiful, and I'm so happy that you came to talk to me. And would you like to come back again next month? And
sure,
we'll do another multitude of questions and show some more beautiful kitchens and work that you do. I would love that.
Ask your audience what they would like me to talk about.
Yeah.
So if there are any specific European techniques, finishes, whatever. My experience is all related to European technology and surfaces, and we can talk about anything they would like.
Good. So if you have any questions for the next video in about a month, let us know and we'll prepare for that. Thanks, and follow us for next time. Bye.